Welcome to the Savannah Paranormal Museum. Where history and horror cross paths. Join us May 1st to see what's dying to meet you.
Ghost Hunt at Hagood Mill in Pickens, South Carolina, June 14, 2025. Tickets are $25 and are sold on Eventbrite and in person at the Dark, Strange and Mysterious Market in Easley, SC on June 13th and 14th. Special guests for the Ghost Hunt is Brandon Cooper and Blaine Rohan. Hagood Mill is known for its rich history and mysterious activity. Can you see spirits? Can ghosts talk to you? Find out. Ghost Hunt, June 14, 2025. Tickets cost $25. We will gather at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and do a history haunting tour until midnight.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Great. We've got a lot of things going on this summer. All Access Network, Family Spirit, Supernatural LLC is slam packed.
Yes.
I'm telling you, it's going to be an amazing summer. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm absolutely ready.
I can't believe it. So, in just about a month, we're going to be at this strange, dark, and mysterious market. You just played the commercial.
Yes.
It's the 13th, 14th, and 15th in Seneca. It's on Sandiford Boulevard in Seneca, South Carolina. And there's horror merchandise, ghost hunts, and the occult, dark and creepy, gothic. There's food, there's music. Oh gosh, it's going to be so much. And we will have a small version of our haunted object lab.
Yes.
And you're going to be doing readings.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing readings also.
Be
Yeah.
fun.
I know, it's going to be great.
But that's Saturday, because the event goes to 8, but we're going to sneak out a little early and go over to Pickens to the
Yes.
Haygood Mill for the ghost hunt. We are so excited about that, guys. The ghost hunt's going to be off the chain. The Haygood Mill is a historic location. It's on the historic register, obviously, but it's also an indigenous site. Besides that, it's got some
Yes.
beautiful cabins from all over the place in South Carolina. Hey, Terrell, we love you. Thank you for watching.
Oh, hey,
Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be a great event. Tickets can be
Let me
found.
say this. Let me
Right.
say this.
Please, I got to take my ponytail down.
Get your tickets now. Get your tickets
That's
now.
right.
We don't do late tickets this time. When we get that number, we're not saying a number, but when we sell them, it's out. It's done. We will not take
We
late
may or
comers.
may
We will
not
not
even
take
have
that
tickets.
day.
Yeah, at that day of.
No.
So maybe
we
not.
are selling
We
quick.
are limited. Yes, because the space is limited.
So,
I know it's a big location, but
yes.
we've got to have someone leading each group, and this was meant to be
Yeah.
something simple. So,
So
and
we figured out safely. We figured out how many people we can take. So that's
exactly. Now, we will be doing, let's see, where'd it go? We will be going to Paracon, CONN, in Waterbury, Connecticut. That's Saturday the 12th and 13th, Sunday the 13th of July. That's going to be great.
Yes.
It's a paranormal and true crime convention. That's going to be intense. And those of you watching, you know that we always do. We have a big group, big following for serial killers, supernatural, and murderers. So we will be featured at that event. It's going to be off the chain, guys. Then
There's
after
going to be
that,
a surprise.
big surprise. Yes, it is.
Surprise. So yeah.
And the Deep South Paracomic-Con in Ozark, Alabama is going to be Friday the 8th of August, Saturday the 9th of August. So I'm really excited about doing that one. Oh my gosh, we've got so much going on.
And I will, most likely, I am working to get to the Paranormal Rockdown also. And I would love to drag Matt and Lee with me, but I may have to put a chain on them. So, you know, I'm trying to drag them there, but I may have to go on my own, and I don't do well on my own without my sis and my brother. So we're trying.
I will say this, we're going to have some ghost hunts along. So those of you that are interested in ghost hunts in South, please, 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 just keep an eye. Yes, yellow gold. Yeah, we've got a big goal coming. So, all right. So tonight we have a very special couple coming on the show. They are the owners and curators of the Savannah Haunted Object Museum. Those of you watching, if you didn't catch the very beginning, we played their commercial.
Play it again.
Awesome. Do it.
Yeah, let's play
it again. Let's do it again.
Let's do it again. Here we go.
Welcome to the Savannah Paranormal Museum. Where history and horror cross paths. Join us May 1st to see what's dying to meet you.
What is dying to meet us? I'm dying to meet them. Let's bring them on. Here they are. Hey, Megan. Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Joining us.
Thank you for having us.
No, you're
We're
welcome.
happy
Thank
to
you
have
for coming.
We've got so much planned. So what inspired you guys to have your haunted object museum?
Well, you know, we live in Savannah, Georgia, and Savannah, Georgia is just a celebrated haunted location and has, for the last 20 plus years, just been kind of this mecca for, you know, ghostly tourism. People come to Savannah just looking for, you know, any experience that they can get. And there are countless wonderful ghost tours that go through the town, trolley tours, walking tours. There are lots of locations that you can go to that are storied with incredible, you know, ghost experiences. And knowing that, we always thought that there should be something that is quasi-interactive, sort of immersive, something that gives people an opportunity to sort of interact without there being a lot of the pressures of like a tour and things of that nature. So a museum makes a lot of sense. There was a period of time that we were thinking of doing it kind of in a haunted, like a Savannah haunt situation, so that people would have the experience of the stories being kind of alive, but that turned out to be such a monumental task as far as all of the ins and outs of how to run that business. A museum began to make more sense because I've been collecting items all my life, and I have a modest collection of my own. But when we decided to become a museum, that collection expanded quite a bit.
Oh, yes. I've seen some pictures, and those of you watching, you see the ones that are in their trailer. It's exciting. I mean,
It is.
I don't even know how to describe it. I've done a lot of haunted objects, as you know, when I did Repossessed. I've been to a lot of haunted object museums, and this one seems so, the way that you've arranged it, the cabinets that they're in, so that they're not exposed to weather. They're not as likely to go dormant, though, because they're within a close proximity of each other, and you don't have wards and church glass and things like that in it. So the patrons will be able to feel the energy of these objects.
And we've had people come through before who, we had a woman step in and she's like, I wasn't going to tell you this, but I am psychic and I am freaking out right now. And we're like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to hear what you think of the Savannah Paranormal Museum. And so she walks through the museum, and as she's exiting, she looks at us, she's like, that was great, and sprints out the door, plugging her ears.
Yeah, she was doing this.
And I'm like, oh no, okay. She liked it.
She liked it. She liked it. She came for the experience and got it.
Yeah.
We do have certain wards in certain places. We definitely try to make sure that there's enough safety.
There's been a few.
It's a balancing act, really.
There's been a few objects that are a little bit more malevolent than we care to expose the public to. So.
Yeah, we learned the hard way in two instances that these objects require more care. So it's a learning curve. There's a learning curve to it.
Yeah, I have an object that I don't take it. Oh, we don't mess with her. Let her there. She's got her box. She's got wards. Yes, and she stays right there. And I put a new haunted object in the case that she's on top of, and that I don't know how to describe it. Just tell you, I put this cloth doll. It's a larger doll, so I had to lay it long ways in the cabinet. It's got glass doors, like an old medicine cabinet, with the wood, and it's got the glass panes. And a couple of days later, I came around, and the doll's leg was hanging out, but the door was still latched. Like she was trying to get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's from the doll. I think the doll is bullying her.
Oh, sure.
And we had a little girl that's a psychic over at the house, and we didn't know to what extent she was psychic. And she turned and looked at me and said, "There's a woman in this hallway, and I don't like her. I don't like her." And I thought, oh my gosh! I said, "What do you hear her saying?" And she puts her head down and she said, I don't know the words, but I don't like her.
Probably not English.
But she got the feel, and I put that object out of the house.
You have to
backyard for a while.
You have to lay it, because we're cautious because we're not interested in like heavy duty dark. We don't want it to be a dark experience. We want it kind of to be a very learning experience for people. There's a huge history component. We have artifacts from all around the world, and we kind of just sort of delve into the fascination with the paranormal and give people an opportunity to just sort of be in the presence of things. And one of the objects was actually supposed to be in the international section, but it turned out to be very menacing. So we had to like track down the proper guards and wards for it, because it was originally just, isn't this an interesting artifact of this culture's belief structure? But then it was very menacing, and we had to, and now it's a part of the artifacts exhibit.
Oh wow, that's fun though. I like being able to get the activity that you can from haunted objects. Speaking of that, we have the haunted object lab. Right. And as you know, you've experienced it, you've been through it, and these objects look like what they are. They're just kind of everyday objects, but something is going on with them. And we've investigated them. They are very active. They have their own, we pack them a certain way, we travel with them a certain way. And one of the things that we noticed from that experience, from our expertise with watching people go through, because that's my favorite thing. Who cares what I can read? What is happening to the client as they go through the lab? And it really depends on their perspective, even their genetics, as to what object will speak to them. We have one object that's Polish, and there's no way to know it by looking at it, but we know. And this young lady went through, and again, here she goes again. And I thought, and then she's crying and she's talking to her husband. And I thought, oh crap. So I went to her and said, are you okay? She said, she just said, can I go back through and I said, just go stand. Don't worry about the people behind you. And I held, Gwen actually stop, this lady's, give her a second,
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm so intrigued with this object. And, we tried to ask a few questions without giving information. And then she said, well, my family's from Poland. And I was so shocked, I almost sat in the floor like, oh, And I said, well, this object is Polish. And then after that, I think Matt actually gave her a K2 meter, and she stood there for over an hour talking to the spirit that's attached to that object. And wow, but there's other people that they don't have any response to things. And I just tell people it really depends on your perspective, how these objects behave in front of you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've already learned that that some people are drawn to certain objects. Even in the museum, we like to have a dialogue with the guests as they come through, and a lot of them, it's just like, what was your favorite piece, or what piece affected you the most? And it's amazing because sometimes it's the one thing in there that we hadn't even thought of. They're like, oh gosh, there's this cat in there. I was like, oh, you and something from the cat. And in our book, there are items that we have such little information on and such little interaction with that it's like we kind of hold them in a stasis, as it were, because it's like, well, this is an object that is purported to have these properties. We haven't experienced it yet, but you can have it. Having people walk through blindly and experience these things, and they come up and say, can you tell me more about this thing? And it's like, this is what we can tell you, but now we know one new thing about it. Now we know something about how it affected you. And that becomes a part of its story, and it becomes a part of its lore right there in front of us. We had a number of experiences with certain items. We got about 3 items that really affected us.
Really?
Like, now we have stories that make our understanding of the item so much richer because it affected us personally. And now we're able to, showcase that as our proof, because it's hard. Haunted objects are really difficult.
And our goal is not to convince anyone that objects could be haunted or that these objects are haunted. It's give them a safe place to experience something at whatever level they're willing to experience it at. And the museum is so much more than haunted objects. We have a room dedicated to Savannah and haunted places there, a history of a haunting. We have a cryptid room that we're working on. It's turning out. We have a confession booth where people can leave us their ghost stories. We have one room dedicated to just one specific doll. Some people won't even enter that room. They won't even go in. It takes a very brave person because it's the very last thing they hit on in their museum walkabout. And a lot of people just don't want to go in. They're like, oh, I'm good. No, thank you.
So I would love to take dolls. That is, she's very bad. She's very bad. I'd like to bring her and see how she would react to your doll. Let's see if the bad girls get along.
Sure. Well, actually, we do have another doll that is very potent and very, seemingly dangerous from the stories that have occurred, and something that happened to one of our, to Madison, my co-host.
Really?
She actually had to go to the hospital twice. and she accounts that it was the doll that did it to her. And so we ended up salting around the doll and kind of warding it so that it wouldn't have that same effect of the ability to just go to reach through. But it's funny because those two dolls, if they're in close proximity, everybody is uncomfortable.
Yeah,
they're literally at the furthest possible places that they can be from each other.
Although we've caught the one doll in her solo room asking to visit the other doll, and we're like, no.
She does.
She wants us to
She's
go
like, take me out, take me there.
No.
And even one time we got because we're using all kinds of different tools and things, and we got to a place where we negotiated getting her out of the box, and as soon as we got out of the box, the spirit chat said, tricked you.
Yes, a doll party. That's right, Asia. That's right.
Doll party.
Doll party.
I have to ask Chris, is it the same doll that moved when Lee was holding it during the show, which she did with you guys?
No. Interestingly enough, other people have reported that doll moved. And I'm like,
we have it on camera, remember?
No, that's the Shirley Temple doll.
Oh, Shirley Temple.
Yeah,
Okay.
And interestingly, my Shirley Temple doll is the bad doll.
Yeah. Oh, see, that's very interesting because that Shirley Temple doll isn't even in our museum. We left it in the podcast studio because
she's by herself.
All the items in the podcast studio could easily go into the museum, but we sort of were like, I think they're set. Like they've become accustomed to the space, and
that's
even when you move them a little, just to clean, it's like, oh, they don't like
they don't like it.
Place. And so it's like, put them in their place, and it's fascinating. We have this that Nope bear, Mr. Nope. He's in a little trunk. When we take him out of the trunk, it feels you get the sensation that he wants to be back.
Disturbing his
exactly. They create the energy pattern around them that they're very comfortable with, and disturbing them makes friction. Yeah.
Wow. Interestingly, when you say that when you move the objects about or even clean around them, that sometimes they will let leave me alone. I was fine the way that I was. So we have that experience with our haunted object lab. And I was holding a baby doll, Gwen was setting it up, and we're going by pictures because if we don't put the objects, not all of them are dolls, but if we put objects in the wrong place and we say this is station 1, then the data we collect, if these objects aren't the same objects, we've skewed the test. So we have to go by pictures. So Gwen had her camera.
Yeah, I was like,
and she had the picture of it, and we were moving things about. My husband's helping, and I'm holding the doll like you would a little dog, in my arms. And our neighbor, who was a vendor setting up, began to shout because he was having technical problems. And a big boisterous guy, and he's having technical problems over there. And when he shouted the second time, the doll bit me. Mm-hmm. She's got real teeth, and the doll bit me on the arm. You can see right here. There's not a scar there, but it was right here, and it was the perfect circle, but like a bite mark with the little teeth all the way across. And it felt very much like a spiritual scratch. You know how it burns like from the inside?
Yeah.
It felt like that. And I was like, ow, what was that? And everybody stopped and looked at me, and they started taking steps backwards, like, oh crap, they're having trouble at the haunted object lab. What happened, Lee? They're shouting. And I said, she bit me. And the whole room silent, and I was like, wow. Yeah, so I was going to bring the little biting girl to see how things go.
Please do,
absolutely. That is my dog. It's my dog. I got my bulldog on my lap. It's not me.
We have a comment from somebody who can't get on. You guys know him. His name is Brent, by the way.
Hey, Brent.
He says, he's watching it on TV, and he says, tell that Jingles rules the roost.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's an excellent example of expectation and how it imbues objects with energy. That energy is kind of the key here, because Jingles, who we sort of blame every technical difficulty that we have on the podcast on Jingles. He has
Darn it, Jingles.
he's a very small little doll, a clown, but he's just a keychain, and like from Amazon, he's just like an ordinary object, everyday object. But that doesn't exclude the object from having spiritual attachment or from having an energy to it. And a lot of times that energy comes from us ascribing an energy to it. You know, we think that we sort of made Jingles the way he is by constantly reinforcing this idea that he's a mischievous little guy. And now when mischief happens, we're like, I think that actually was Jingles. You know, we're getting more and more the sensation that
I call that. Hold on, it's coming to me. I call that an artificial haunting.
Yep.
That will actually mark an object, because if everybody's thinking this particular doll is, let's say it's good luck, because everybody's thinking this is good luck, it becomes good luck. There's a rock outside of the football field in this one particular stadium, and all the football players, as they're running on, they'll go by and rub the rock. I don't know what's up with the rock. Yes, it is a topa. Thank you, Rez. It is a topa.
There you
Exactly. But I call it an artificial haunting when dealing with haunted objects. I don't know, but it's topa based.
Topa, egregore, you know, that whole construct of the fact that our minds are very powerful, and they can project energy and allow for energy to manifest in different ways and different things. Which is one of the classic.
Everybody's watching the show, guys, and people are watching on YouTube and they're texting.
Yes, they're texting me too, and I'm laughing. Okay, so we have a friend. I have to tell you this. We have a friend who bought a costume watch from one of the Halloween places. I'm not going to say the name of it. But it's a costume piece, and it's a costume watch. It never worked. So he wears it, and one day, after he starts taking our classes and stuff that, we were in, and Lee and those were teaching, it starts working, because we were at a certain location and it started working. And we found out through questioning and different devices and just us that there was a spirit attached to it. And she wanted to be attached to it, and she wanted to go home with them. And she did. She's still with the watch. Now she travels, but she goes back to the watch. Still.
She died of a heart condition. So the watch in her heart, in her mind, it was her heartbeat again. She said it gave us, gave me my heartbeat. And her name is Edith. And she was a very well-educated, non-paid worker, if you know what I'm saying with that. I'm trying to be nice. I don't know how else to say it. And she, bless her heart, worked really hard with a doctor who owned the house. She was a gift to him for an unpaid debt. And she fell in love with his son, and they had twins. So it's a wonderful story, and they moved where they could be together, and just a wonderful thing. But she did die of a heart attack, and so this pocket watch has given her heartbeat. She's even, bless her heart, I keep saying that, she's even adopted a spirit child that was badly neglected. I don't know how much of her problem was mental or how much was environment, not being nurturing, but this child is learning to read. Fantastic. And through her EVPs, we're getting this information. So we love Edith. She's beautiful. And Christy owns the pocket watch. And I'm talking about you, Christy. Yes, we all love her. She's texting. We have had such a wonderful time talking about her that Christy and Kyle actually made a little dollhouse for her.
Thomas.
And she's got a miniature little furniture, and she's even got a little picture, a portrait.
She has a patio in the back. Oh, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yes. She has a patio. Yes.
We do. We dote on our loved ones, even the ones in spirit. How about that?
Yes,
So,
we did.
yay. But I just thought you'd enjoy that story because
Oh
it
yeah,
just
absolutely. You know, it's always
Mhm.
interesting when you start to think about the various functions of how what a spirit really wants is the access to this world. Things like something reminiscent of their heart, something reminiscent of their body. That's why dolls are so easy to be haunted, is because they have bodies and that people interact with them and treat them like people. And so there's this longing to, to be a part of this plane, which is very difficult as a spirit. But once you can get onto that physical, once you have something physical, you now are a part of our realm. So that's why we get these possessed items,
Yes.
these items that the spirits are now, look, I'm in your world. I am a part of your world. I'm not just this abstract idea or concept. And I do believe that there are plenty of spirits that aren't even like former humans, or that they
that's
exist
right.
as an energy.
Mhm.
And energies are very moldable. You know,
Very.
they can take on a lot of characteristics, and we start to really ascribe all these like humanistic characteristics to it, but really it's just a pattern of energy that seems humanistic, or and so sometimes it takes a little learning to figure out, well, what's a former human that was obviously trying to reestablish itself in the world versus an energy that is sort of imbuing or just cast upon something because of its placement and because of the environment, because of something that we're carrying around or thinking about. Those are the fun questions.
So articulate, Chris. I
Yes,
love
it
to talk to
is.
you.
We did. Oh, yes.
Yes, it's wonderful. I am writing a book about haunted objects and how
That's so
objects
exciting.
can become haunted, just like a location can be haunted. There's even residual hauntings that happen within a haunted object where it's just the feeling of joy or the feeling of comfort or just a little small snippet of memory that's within this doll. I had one that was a Humpty Dumpty, and he was made of cloth, and it was just a little pillow that slipped. It's like a pillowcase, but it was
Sure.
circular. And whoever had that Humpty Dumpty loved it,
Sure.
loved it, and it's so peaceful. So, and then there's others in the show, Repossessed. There was a clown, and it had the spirits of two young lovers that were murdered by a serial killer.
Oof.
And he was trying so hard to protect her, and he ended up both of them being killed. And they're hiding in this clown, and their paradise because they are able to reclaim their solitude and their time together. And as they're healing, I keep telling them, look, I reach out to me in some way if you want to cross or something like that. But I think you're fine when you are, he's very protective of her. And clearly he
That's
died trying
another
to protect
really
her.
good point, is that people kind of get this obsessive idea that the spirits must move on. They have to move on.
It
It's like,
drives me crazy.
it's not like that. It's the same growth process of just being alive. That's literally suggesting that anybody on the street is like, well, you should just die already. You
Exactly.
wouldn't walk up to somebody and be like, if you died, everything would be better. Because that's a lot of what spirits are going through is a growth process, a learning process, and trying to fulfill some kind of notion about their existence.
Right.
And maybe we have a lot more to learn. So it's weird that people get into their heads immediately. Oh, well, you got to show them the light, or you have to tell them to cross over. You have to get them out. And it's like, well, maybe there's a purpose. Maybe there's a reason for their lingering.
They're healing. They're healing each other.
Healing is a great term to use, because healing is so much more expressive than learning. But learning is healing. So there's so much going on in that notion.
So, Chris, I'm sorry, Lee, go ahead.
That's okay, baby. Go ahead.
Our friend Brent is asking another question. Sorry that he likes this. He says, what's your take on destroying haunted objects and why we shouldn't?
So one of the biggest things that people get into their head too is you have to destroy it, burn it. Do not do that. That is
Please don't
the
do
last
that.
thing you want to do. And one of the reasons why I always say is when a spirit attaches or enters into an object, the object is its body. When you destroy the body, that spirit is released, just like our concept of when we die, our spirit is released. That when you take that into consideration and you say, oh, this is an evil spirit that's doing damage, I'm going to destroy the body, then that spirit is free and it's out and it's got the ability to re-inhabit or to come after you in a different way, in a way that you're not prepared for. So if there is anything that you would want to do to isolate these haunted objects, if it's about disposal, it's a proper burial for me. In my mind, if you give it the proper burial, a sacred and truly meaningful ritual of burial, that's a clear message set by all of civilization. From the entire history of mankind, we understand that the rites of burial are the end of a spiritual line in this realm, and that kind of creates the ability to negotiate with the spirit and say, we're putting you to rest. We need you to, calm down. If we break the body, the spirit comes out and can come out even more forceful than it was inside the body. So
Genie
it's
in the bottle. Leave it
in
alone.
the bottle. Exactly.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, about the cursed mirror.
Water.
Sure. Yeah,
So we ordered a very, very cursed mirror, and it was well packaged, and we had $2,000 worth of insurance on it, and it showed up shattered. And when Chris opened that box, I just oh my god, because I was like, first of all, we released something into the universe that was meant to be in this mirror, but second of all, the mirror. So we did call the Savannah psychics in to help us decide or help us figure out if something was still attached or not. So Brian and Jen Byers are the Savannah psychics, and they came in and they looked upon the mirror and they determined that there is still an attachment there, but it has more free reign than just behind the mirror. It can move about as needed, and it was trying to trick us for sure. And it was help me, I'm Moppy. And that is Chris's grandmother's name. And so
Brian was like, it's speaking nonsense. It's pretending to be an old woman and it's speaking nonsense. I was like, what's it saying? It's like saying, help me, I'm in here, I'm Moppy. It's nonsense. And I was like, that's not nonsense. That's my grandmother's name.
So we made a mistake. When the mirror arrived, even though it was shattered, it was still in a plane. And so we spent a lot of time looking at ourselves, talking to it, being like, you better still be in there. And so the mirror learned who we were. It learned something about Chris to use against him. And so we ended up resealing it and displaying it anyway with some salt around it. But I will tell you, that mirror, the insurance payout was $200 because it's just a piece of glass. And we're like, we wanted the demon in the mirror. We wanted the entity attached to it. So it's still on display in the museum, and people still really like it. And we try not to look into it.
Try. It's very alluring. It's very hard to walk past it because it has an intense presence. But we actually put a salt circle around it as well.
And we faced another mirror to it. So when I need to look into it, I look into the not cursed mirror to look at the mirror behind me.
Because while normally putting mirrors facing each other creates that vortex effect, oftentimes if a mirror has a malevolent spirit in it, it can be easily confused by the other reflection. It's reaching out, and it is reaching out into a reflection rather into the real world. You can kind of
you're trapping it, really,
to mitigate some of the damage that it's trying to do.
I've moved entities out of objects and put it in a mirrored box so that it's busy bouncing itself around. So that's actually very smart.
All the potential dimensionality of a mirror.
There's also some words that you can do in order to neutralize them. You can put blessings on them that's equaling the same amount of negativity, so that it's kind of a wash. It'll kind of balance it.
Well, and it's fascinating
Yeah.
because we do have items and objects specifically designed to dispel spirits, but because we're a paranormal museum,
We kind of want it.
we have to keep them
Mm-hmm.
intact. So it's a balancing act. It really is.
Yeah,
We're
I
trying
wouldn't
to
do
figure
what
out
I'm
how to
saying
keep
for your
them-
museum, but yeah.
Right. Well, how to keep them present, but not able to cause any harm.
Yeah, no
Mhm.
harm.
That's our big thing is we want it to still be as safe as possible, but
Give people the experience they came for.
but we don't want to like mute it too much. And so we have like things from all different cultures. We have Chinese artifacts that are specifically for warding off spirits. We have, Judeo-Christian artifacts that are specifically meant to bless and keep things. But we measured them out and we put them in the places that we felt were about egress, like keeping
yeah.
spirits from going out the door or clinging to people.
Little cold iron at the door on your way out.
Yeah, exactly.
Have a good day. Thanks for coming.
That's good. Wow. So I wanted to ask you if, when I finish my book, I would like to be able to do like a book signing, like
I
a
would love it.
reveal
That would be
there,
fantastic. Yeah.
because and give one to you guys, if you'd like
Well,
to have it there.
And we have a gift shop, so we would love to
Oh.
sell them in our gift shop.
That's a great idea. I would love
Yes.
that.
Some books off your hands and put them on a shelf.
That sounds good. We have a few objects we'd also we'd like to put in the museum.
That would be fantastic too. And that's the big thing is
We've been open for 3 weeks now, and though we are open and our museum's quite full, we have open door policy. We are accepting objects. If people have things they don't necessarily want to hold on to or that they want to be on display, we're not accepting human remains.
Yes,
But
no.
otherwise, we're pretty open to seeing
And-
objects and putting them on display.
which is interesting because we're also not a true crime or murder memorabilia place, which I don't have any qualms against. It's just that it's
not what we're doing here.
we're trying to be as specific as possible, and that
Right.
kind of muddies the waters when you start bringing in what is essentially just these are horrendous things that have happened and fascinating psychology, fascinating interest. But since we're focusing on the supernatural and the paranormal, we're trying to stay in that wheelhouse. Yeah.
The mirror that I'm bringing with me, it belonged to a lady. I keep trying to get her name, and I've almost got it. But when she's around, you smell her perfume.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
she's
interesting.
very lovely.
we have a portrait. Mrs. Bowles is this portrait's name,
Oh, let's see.
and she
like a lavender.
has a
scent.
lavender perfume, but
Aw.
intriguingly, men find themselves like fascinated by this portrait. They ask about it. They're like, "Can you tell me about that lady on the wall?" And you're like, She apparently
That's part of her
flirts with
thing.
people.
Yeah.
She gets men's attentions and the ire of the women that the men are with.
Oh, maybe
Ooh.
she's.
A little flirty. A little flirty.
So
girl.
I have a picture of the cracked mirror from
That's
Brent.
it.
That's it. Yeah. There she is.
Wowzer.
Yeah.
You should have seen
Oof.
me sealing this mirror without looking at it. It was a wild task to get it all sealed back up
Oh,
without looking
man.
upon myself in the mirror, looking into it at all.
Well, you got it back together.
Yep.
Wow.
It looks even cooler now,
Yeah.
honestly.
You did good.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
We
I think
made
so. I think it looks
like
really.
a series of 6 TikToks all about this mirror too. It's probably a little buried now because we post once a day. But if anyone wants the full story, like start to finish, there's several TikToks we've made about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, that's awesome. We also
wait to
have
see
an
all of it.
announcement to make. Yeah, everybody's saying that.
Mhm.
Rez is saying, and he will have quite the journey to get to you. But he said, I want to go through the museum and see what I feel.
We'd love to have
Rez,
you.
You need to. We need you to, because Savannah's a place to go. It's definitely.
Oh
got
yeah.
its
I'm
own
just walking
adventure.
through Savannah is walking through a haunted museum.
The building itself is haunted before we ever moved anything
Yeah.
into it. Like Savannah is haunted.
Mm-hmm. It's a very haunted place, and you're not far from a
It is.
battlefield, and
Oh yeah,
even
we're
the
right on the
hotel
edge
that we
of
stayed
the old
haunted.
battlefield, and we actually learned, interestingly enough, through our research, that the building we're in was the grocery for Frogtown, which is the freed slave settlement in the downtown Savannah area, and the root doctor, his name was Dr. Johnson. Dr. Johnson would get all of his root doctor Gullah Geechee goods from the grocery store. This is where he would get his ingredients for his casting and his dusting. And it was like, that's really fascinating because, and we found this out by reading Drums and Shadows, which is an amazing book. If anybody really wants to know more about the Gullah Geechee lore around ghosts and haints and witches, things like that, it's a book called Drums and Shadows, where the United States government actually sent out interviewers to talk to all of these people in the 1930s who could still remember back into the 1800s, and they were telling the stories, and having as close to the structure of their speech and the structure of their folklore, all kept in a wonderful volume, Drums and Shadows. I strongly recommend it for that indigenous quality that comes from the Gullah Geechee people.
So there's someone that's watching on YouTube, and they're asking if there's a way that they could buy tickets online, and that way they could go ahead and book everything.
Yeah, so our website's up and running. The tickets are online. So it's SavannahParanormalMuseum.com. And that's also our TikTok and Instagram and Facebook page, SavannahParanormalMuseum.com. We are currently open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday from noon to 8 p.m., Sunday noon to 6 p.m. I have a feeling by the end of the year we will add on Wednesdays at least.
Yeah.
But you can get tickets online and then come through when you're ready during those hours. We also have an event this Sunday for anyone in the area. It's an after dark museum walkthrough where we're going to turn off all the lights Sunday from 8 to 10 p.m. And we're going to give everyone a flashlight. And there's going to be Estes methods that people can watch or try. And we'll have the Savannah Psychics, who I mentioned earlier. They're giving talks and Chris telling ghost stories. It's going to be
it's going to be great. So this one is a talisman that you guys have. Let me get
yes. So yeah, right at the base of it is the talisman. The Kuman Thong itself could be considered a talisman. It's a very strange practice that I believe has been long outlawed. But the Kuman Thong is a kind of a terrifying a creature. It is supposed to be a deceased child or embryo, and originally they would roast babies that had died and then gild them in gold. And the Kuman Thong is actually, that's what it means, golden child. But the idea is that the life that would have been led by the child, all of its fortune is yours if you care for it. So you care for the Kuman Thong, and it returns favor and fortune. So it's supposed to be this good luck charm. That one especially became a problem to us.
So we had it in a room while we were building the museum. We had all of the paranormal things we were unboxing in one room together. And when this one became unboxed, first of all, the smell.
Oh, it smelled like death.
Was horrible. And it would only be in that room.
A thick, wet, rotting smell, like coming across a dead body in the mud.
It was bad.
It was bad. And it was interesting because it was locked away and the museum wasn't open. It was just a empty big room. We decided to have our friends over to conduct a seance to sort of find out the base level, before we do anything. What's the base level in it? And our friend Brian started having like this kind of weird conversation spiritually, he's a medium, with a frantic woman
who didn't speak English
and was having some kind of like alarming running around trying to warn us desperately, but not speaking the language. And the more it came about, we realized that he's speaking of an Asian woman, and the woman says that she created the item and that the item is not what we think it is. that the item is actually a coffin. It's not what you think it is. It's a coffin. It's a coffin. Kept saying it's a coffin. And inside the coffin is a child killing spirit. Beware.
Don't let women near it.
Don't
let pregnant women touch it. Don't touch it at all. But especially pregnant women.
He's like, she's so upset because it's broken. And this is the thing.
Ooh.
When we unpacked it, its foot fell off.
It was already
broke
off in the mail.
And it was like, oh my God. So we were asking, it's like, what can we do? What can we do? And she kept saying, you have to build a roof, build the roof, build the roof. And he's like, I don't know what that means. Build the roof. What does it mean? And she was showing him in his mind this plaster that they're putting on a thatched roof, this kind of like muddy plaster. And I was like, I know what that is. Because there's a demon in Thailand that has a long tongue that will go through the thatch work, and they would put a special herb in the roof. I've heard of this. And so I called to Thailand and I found a monk, and I was like,
bless your heart.
What the stuff in the roof is, so I'm telling him the story, and the guy's like, oh yeah, that's the 100 sacred herb. You're talking about the 100 sacred herb. I was like, can you send me some?
Please.
Please, yeah.
We make amulets out of the 100-year sacred herb specifically to stop evil spirits. I was like, that's what I need. Could you get it to me? And so he sends it to me. I get it. And I put it in the case, and the smell disappears immediately, gone.
Oh.
And it was like, and I was like, am I going crazy? Did this happen? Did it stop smelling? And I turned to Justin, my curator, and he's like, yeah, it smells gone. I was like, how? What possibly? I was like, what's in this little amulet? So yeah, the amulet, it's just this small amulet. But
and we've not had any problems with it.
We have not had problems with it. The smell has been gone the whole time, and the spirit itself, because it has a menace to it. Like when you're around, just looking at it, you're like, I don't like it. But
it's what you're telling me. I'm there trying to see what's going on, and it feels like a reaper. Have you ever dealt with a reaper?
Oh no.
Sure. That makes it, because the way the woman was describing it was that she had to contain it because it was killing, and it was especially fond of killing babies and
babies.
Children. It really wants children.
Because the sorrow that comes from killing children, when a child dies, that desperation is what that type of energy is what these things thrive off of. So that's their way of
that's definitely that definitely fits with the entirety of that journey. And that was a very harrowing journey to go on, because during that period of time, we were very unsettled by it all. We were unsettled by the smell. We were having, just a fog of trying to be in the building. We got foggy a lot, and it just took that one little charm from the culture that the thing originated from. I think is telling that it had to be.
That helps so much.
But yeah, we were so relieved that we have a resource that we would have called you definitely to come in and help.
Lee, come help us. Yeah.
I'll be coming.
We can call.
I'd be grabbing my bag and running out the door.
Yeah. We're either experiencing something, or just every now and then to have someone to walk through and be like, there's some imbalance, or there's some, something that needs addressing. Because there was a period of time when we thought that that was a little darker in the museum than light, and so we started trying to really pull out of the darkness, and I think we've successfully done it. I think we're successfully balanced.
We've tweaked a lot of stuff in there, especially with feedback from people going through as well. And I think we've just about hit where the lighting's proper, the feeling's proper, the music's proper.
The placement of what is where, if two objects are too close to each other, there's friction. So you have to kind of okay, these two objects need to be further apart.
And if you can believe it, there is an audio tour we give people who come in and buy a ticket that is 3 hours long. luckily, it was Chris and Madison having a conversation about each object, but they do it object by object. So when people come through, they can find the object on the audio tour and just listen to that specific object. Nobody that I know of has yet attempted the full 3 hours of it.
Someone was close.
But
There was somebody who
got
listened
close.
to a good deal of it.
Yeah, so it's one of those things
Wow.
where it's like either block out a bunch of time or we'll see you again soon.
We're now at a place where we have to add because we have like 3 or 4 items that we've gotten since we recorded that.
Yeah. We're always expanding, but people now that they know about us are like, "Ooh, I've got something for you.
Right.
Let me bring it and tell you its story." And we're like, "Yes, thank you."
That's going to be great.
Just today, we were given something it's like a sculpture of a scorpion in a resin dome, but
Ooh.
the original owner, it was like gifted to her anonymously, but when she took it into her house, she got very ill. Her family was getting ill. Her pet died. She was having all kinds of like really gloomy stuff around her. And she really began to think that somebody had put a hex on her, that the scorpion represented some kind of ill will towards her. So she gave it to another person and the other person took it off of her hands. And once she was separated from it, her life kind of evened back out and seemed to suggest that was the case. But the person who had the scorpion was like, I don't know what to do with it, and so kind of just like kept it, shoeboxed it and was like, I don't want to think about it. And when the museum opened, she's like, I have this one item. I don't know if you'd be interested. And we're like, yeah, of course, because the story is very interesting. Because a lot of people get in their heads the ideas of hexes and curses as being some kind of highly ritualistic thing, but sometimes it's just ill intent. It's just like somebody having such venomous emotion and pouring it into an object, and that can happen. So we're like, yeah, we can we can take it because its story is it possible for the mind to poison an object? Is it possible for the spirit to sour something? And I believe it is. So, it's just one of those things that's going to be an interesting.
yes.
Can you read the comment? Can you see it?
Yes. Yeah. There it is.
Intent of
And
practice.
practitioners were to poison their life. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we get into our head that it's a complicated affair, but really, if you're in touch with that connective, spiritual, emotional, if you can bridge it, it's not complicated. It doesn't require all of this extra hootenanny and symbology and all these extra things. It really is about how dedicated to a concept and principle you are. Is your mind capable of challenging the reality that everyone else accepts? And if it is, then you can alter that reality.
Yes, you can. Yes. Mm-hmm. That reminds me a lot of some of the teachings within the Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Yes, absolutely.
So, special announcement. The Haunted Object Lab of mine that belongs with Family Spirit Supernatural LLC, which includes Gwen. It includes my hubby and our boo crew. Let me see, where is the thing at?
Boo crew. Brent had to go to bed.
Oh, okay.
He said goodnight, by the way. So
yeah. A lot of people are having. Here's our logo for the Haunted Object Lab.
Yes.
All right. They will be coming to meet your haunted objects.
Yay!
Yay! I'm so excited. Those of you that are watching, special announcement: Family Spirit Supernatural LLC with Matt and Lee, Gwen, and the Boo Crew will be coming to Savannah June the 21st. We'll be doing readings, book signings, and we'll have the Haunted Object Lab, which we could set up outside with our canopies and things.
We do have area that we can dedicate to it. There's enough room in the museum with just a little shuffle around. We could even put it in Emerald Dean's room for a short period of time too.
I think I know.
So I have something to ask. Lee was asking earlier. Can we spend the night in the haunted?
So here's the interesting thing, and something that we're kind of trying to get a workaround.
Okay.
Our landlord does not allow for overnights, and
But
that
can we
is
stay
because
late?
we can go late. I think
It has to cut off at midnight.
Okay.
he gave us a midnight, but I think we can scooch it past that. It's
Okay.
just they definitely had an experience with former tenants that made them very gun shy about the public after hours. So it becomes like a sort of we have to be on good behavior for a while. And so we're imagining that that in time we will be able to ask for more. But at this stage of our relationship with our landlord, he's still trying to.
So you can follow Instagram, TikTok is Savannah Paranormal Museum. And we do post one TikTok a day. And we do post on Instagram fairly regularly.
Yes,
In fact,
they do.
TikTok
I'll watch
and
them.
our
Yes.
main
Yeah, I would say
marketing.
90% of the people walking through our door heard of us from TikTok.
Yeah. We have a marketing plan, but until the TikTok stops talking,
We're doing pretty good.
Yep. So we have American Demon Comics in the house watching.
Awesome.
Hey, Austin, he's amazing. He's a wonderful artist. And he said that we are going to have a haunted play date. Yes. We get along because our demons get along, right? And the magic words, Linda said, the magic words are, I have insurance.
We do have insurance. We have a lot of insurance. We had to do a lot of back because they wouldn't even let us sign a lease without this huge insurance policy. And we found an interesting insurance policy that actually only cost us a third of the cost if we had an experienced museum employee on our payroll. And so we only have one person on our payroll, and he ran another museum in town. And so I was like, hey, you want to come work with us? And so he signed on, and we were able to get this amazing rate on incredible insurance because we had an experienced museum executive.
Okay, so question: do y'all share to join your team, or is it case by case? Brandon, I need a little help with that one.
We gotta clarify here.
Yeah.
Are you speaking to us?
Yeah.
Or are you speaking to them?
Does he want part of the Boo Crew?
Just come on.
I
don't know what that means.
He's part of not the Boo Crew, but our family. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
He voice typed that one. I'm absolutely sure. And I think he's just come on. We're going to be going there. He'll say something else in a minute. God love him. He's a mess. You guys are going to really like Brandon. He's a former Marine.
Type Brandon.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, typing Brandon. Okay, good. So we're going to have a good time bringing the Boo Crew, and hopefully we'll have more people coming as well. And it looks like we'll be able to. Yep, I hate voice to text. He said, "Okay, here he is." No, that's the same one. I hate voice to text. I know it. I know it. Well, he'll get it in a minute, but he'll be coming with us at some point. I'm hoping that we'll be able to come at least once a month. You know, if that works out. And hey, let's see if it works out. Cool. Yay! So, does anybody have any further questions? Bless you, baby. Oh, you've been doing that all day. She even got the mute button on this time.
I have a question.
That was impressive. That was impressive.
Yay. Okay. I'm getting good at this. I have a question for you guys. When people go in and have experiences or walk through, do you get like a recording or a written, like what happened to them? Kind of like we do with the haunted objects.
Probably a whole harmless, right?
So we do have a room dedicated. Yeah, we have a room dedicated to videoing your own testimonials. But mostly it's just like an exit interview. Yeah, we just talk to people as they come through, and we
how do you like it?
Right.
Did you see anything? Who was your favorite? And like 3 people have been like, I saw Jeb move.
Yeah.
His arm like this.
Yeah.
Like yeah. Or a lot of people are like, Emerald Dean told me to get out.
Yeah, get out.
Get out.
Yeah.
Get out. She says that, but
she says that a lot.
One couple, she's like, sit down.
Oh yeah, stay.
Open your mouth.
She was like, stay.
And
we're like, whoa.
Did you open your mouth? And he's like, yeah. Don't do that.
Don't do that. Don't do
that. We have an exit thing too, because at the end, you know, it's like station 1. What did you feel between 1 to 10? Da 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 da. And we actually have a barcode. Yeah.
Not a barcode, but a
QR code. So you can click that, and it takes you to the form and do. And at the end, you know, what felt like this and what felt like that. And what did you think? What was the worst? Most haunted, the worst feeling for you? And someone was going through it, and she said, the first one I could tell this one. Was haunted, and over here I didn't really feel anything. But those dolls, nobody nope.
We use that all the
and
time
it
now.
stuck. And so we say, oh, nobody nope. And Jess, hope you're watching, because that's for you.
You can tell we try to have fun with our friends and new friends too.
Yeah, we have a good time.
Yeah, we do.
Well, how can people reach out to you? You've given us the Instagram and TikTok, and we've talked about Facebook. Will you give your website again?
So SavannahParanormalMuseum.com. Probably the easiest way to reach us. Our phone number is on there if you want to text, but a message on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. We do keep an eye on those as well. And you can get your tickets on our website too.
And our email address is SavannahParanormalMuseum@gmail.com.
We like to keep it easy.
Yeah.
Wherever you see Savannah Paranormal Museum, it's us.
Okay, so someone just wanted to know if they could book a birthday party there.
That would be fun.
Birthdays there.
We've had several, actually.
Mostly, it's like the birthday person will be like, "This is what I want to do," and then they bring their people through. And so you can do your birthday there, but it's not like
it is a museum, so
don't bring a cake.
You guide yourself through, but we don't have, unfortunately, and we wanted to. When we were originally looking at the space, we were hoping to get 2 bays. So that we could have like a convention-y kind of area, a talk back, a theater basically. But the real estate prices just like skyrocketed, and we're now paying for our one space the same amount we were going to pay for both spaces.
Oh, that's
but it's something where if people wanted to come through privately for themselves on a day we're closed, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, they can. It'll be a little more expensive, but it'll be completely exclusive to you and your party. And that's something you can email us about. Let us know how many and how long you want to be there, and we'll let you know the price of that as well. Okay. Because we are closed 3 days. We are willing to let people come through with their party for a private tour.
Okay. That was the question. All right. Yippee is what I got back.
Yippee.
Yippee. All right. Yep. Okay. And they're wanting the link is www.savannah haunted object, right?
No, paranormal. Savannah Paranormal Museum. And it's weird because it's so many letters.
It's a lot of letters.
Every time I type it in, I'm like, what have we done?
Don't you have
the Sav car?
Yeah. Your name should be Leitreanna. Then you know the new name.
No.
Yeah, that's cute. And it went great. The link's there and everything. People can click it. But I was going to say, you should know the pain of being named Leitreanna. 10 letters.
Oh, sure.
You know?
Yeah. I type it constantly, right? Because I do all this. And every time I have to look up her name just to make sure it's right. And I'm like, and Lee looks at me. She goes, "It's an I." I said, "I know. I'm half asleep." We were at the vet office, and I'm typing, and I'm like half asleep, and she's like, "It's an I." I'm like, "I know this."
It's all right, honey. It's all right. A name like mine, I get it. Thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been a wonderful.
Our pleasure. Yeah, we look forward to seeing you in person.
I can't believe it. Yeah, can't wait to see you. All right, so maybe we can get you guys back again. We do have 14 other podcasters on this network, and 75% are paranormal, so they're going to see this, and then they're going to, oh, I want them on. Oh, I want them on. Well, I want them on first, so we'll just be sending you, all your fangirls.
Well, I get you on first. I'll go ahead and claim it now because I have my own show. So.
Sounds good.
All right.
Sounds great.
Have a blessed night. Go ahead and take us out, Gwen.
All right. Here we go.